Barcelona is the only team in Europe with 6 players with double-digit goal tallies. Lewandowski, Marcus Rashford, Yamal, Rafinha, Ferran Torres, and Fermin Lopez. In midfield, Pedri dominates everything: assists, passes, and progression. He's the best midfielder in the world right now. In goal, Joan Garcia, the best goalkeeper in Spain for the past 2 seasons. So what's wrong with them? Barca had 14 shots on target, scoring 2 goals, compared to Atletico's 4 shots, scoring 3. And here's the real problem. Barca have conceded in 15 consecutive Champions League matches, or have conceded in every Champions League match this season. And to make matters worse, the refereeing hasn't helped either. It's not the main reason, but it's clearly a persistent problem. So now the question is clear. How can a team like Barca fail? For more details, watch this video. The first major problem with Barcelona is that Hansi Flick's own ideas have completely failed. That high defensive line is easy for opponents to read, and this is the real tactical collapse. In the 2025-2026 season, the system remains the same as last season. The defensive line is still high, sometimes very high, but the intelligence is gone. Now they're going forward automatically, not based on the situation. They're going forward because that's the system, not because the moment is right, and it changes everything. So yes, it looks aggressive, but it's actually a predictable recklessness. Opposing teams are now aware of Hansi Flick's playing style. Look at Julian Alvarez's goals in the Copa del Rey. Huge spaces with the defensive line completely open, and Koundé running like a maniac trying to recover. The same pattern repeats itself over and over again. A high defensive line, a wing-back out of position, and the most painful moment of all, due to Flick's obsession with a high defensive line, is Lookman's goal. 2-on-2 in midfield, Marcos Llorente versus Eric Garcia, and Joao Cancelo is completely helpless. And then Lookman versus Koundé, running like he's carrying an anchor on his back. Without Íñigo Martínez in defense, everything collapses. He's the brain of that line, the one who reads the play half a second early, adjusts his position without panic, and tells Pau Cubarsí, Koundé, or Alejandro Balde exactly when to step. He not only maintains space, but also controls the timing, and without him, the entire structure is lost. That's why this keeps happening. Literally, Barca has become the Spanish team that has conceded the most goals in the Champions League. That's not bad luck, but rather a structural fragility, and there are 2 clear reasons for this. First, the loss of Íñigo Martínez, because without him, this defense doesn't just look shaky, it looks downright chaotic. Jules Koundé's inconsistency is a major warning sign. Nearly every goal the opposition has scored has come from his side. Against Lookman at the Metropolitano, he had only his back to goal. In the first leg, he couldn't close down Ruggeri on the cross that led to Sorloth's goal. In the first leg of the Copa del Rey, he was also late in marking Griezmann and the ball went completely through his legs. And that same night, for another Lookman goal, he wasn't even in the right position. That's been the pattern throughout the season. The real problem: slow reactions, poor reading, and moments that cost everything. The same situation has occurred with Alejandro Balde. He's been exposed too often. Injuries, the arrival of Joao Cancelo, and a decline in form have complicated things. In midfield, Flick has tried various solutions, deploying Gerard Martín and Eric Garcia alongside Cubarsí. But let's be honest, they need experience. Cubarsí is indeed an elite player, no doubt about it, but he's only 19, and at this level, in these moments, a lack of experience will cost the team in goals. Both he and Martín have shown excellent performances, but they've also made very specific and very costly mistakes. Barca needs a more established profile there. Someone like Alessandro Bastoni or Lisandro Martinez would be perfect for that role in this system. This is the team's structural problem. Now we must address Hansi Flick's second major problem. Barca desperately needs a lethal number 9 for 2 reasons. First, Robert Lewandowski is no longer the player he once was. His quality is still exceptional, but he's at a stage where he can no longer be a main striker at this level. He's dropped from 42 goals last season to 17. While that's still decent, the decline is significant.
Barcelona go out of the competition, Thierry? Yeah, especially the way it happened. We've been vocal about it for more than 2 years now. Giving the opposition opportunity when you're in total control of the game. In every single game, by the way. And they got punished on that by Atletico. They got punished on that by Atletico in the Copa del Rey. They got punished on that by Atletico at home, at their place, obviously Barcelona. And now